welcome back to Starseed Direct Tarot. This is your intuitive guide, Starseed D. And I'm here to bring you the mid-November reading 2020 for Aquarius, the star sign of Aquarius. So if you have Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, 2nd, 4th, 7th, 11th, and possibly 12th house, or you have Aquarius in Venus or Mars, this may resonate with you. Keep in mind that this is for entertainment purposes only. This is a general reading, but if it does resonate with you, I may encourage you to go ahead and book a personal reading with me. All of the details for the services and other creative projects that I'm working on are in the description box below. Now, we're going to go ahead and get into your reading. The first row is your past energy, and we have the Tower. The Tower is signifying the breaking down of a foundation and the rebuilding of a new one. And as you can see, your past energy is also followed up by the Fool. Again, you have Mars energy heavy. The Tower is Aries and Scorpio, and the Fool is Aries. So in the past, you had to rebuild something. Now, whether this is your career, a love situation, or just a general outlook on your general life happenings, something had to come down for you to rebuild something new. Now, your current energy is Temperance. That is representative of Sagittarius. It also represents regaining a balance in your life or in regards to a specific situation. And you also got the Star, so this is also mirroring that same energy of healing. Spirit is telling me that perhaps you want to take some R&R time by a body of water. Aquarius, if you enjoy being by the beach or swimming, I would encourage you to take some time to do so. Your current energy is that you are replenishing yourself. You're pouring into your own cup here. And by doing so, you loving on yourself is healing from this situation that happened with the Tower. Now, your current challenges is going to be the 10 of Wands. This speaks of stress, overexertion. Perhaps you're feeling overworked, or currently you know that there's a lot on your plate right now and you're holding yourself accountable to deadlines and things of that nature, and it may be causing you a little bit of stress and fatigue. Spirit is advising you to just be mindful of not overexerting yourself. Be also mindful that we're in a pandemic still. So if you are in a career or a situation where your job requires you to do a lot of travel, please keep in mind to, take extra precautions, because I know there isn't a lot of people that are able to travel right now. But whatever situation you're in currently, your challenge is going to be how to maneuver these things and still achieve what your current workload is. And the Queen of Swords is saying that if in the event that you feel stressed or overworked, or bearing a lot of extra burden on your shoulders, you need to speak up about it. If there's a situation maybe at work that you're feeling like your boss is maybe giving you a lot to have to do, maybe you need to speak up and communicate to your superior officer or whatever line of work that you do that you may need to rework some things in your schedule or rework some things on your workload to maybe divvy out or balance the work between other people on your team so that you don't feel overloaded or burdened at this time. Your outcome is the 8 of Wands. This traditionally speaks of communication, but because it's in your outcome position, I'm thinking that perhaps it's really not decided Spirit is not necessarily giving you an answer in detail as to the outcome of this situation, that you're overcoming some kind of burden and you're healing from it now by possibly throwing yourself into work. But by doing so, you may be overexerting yourself, and you need to speak up and ask, for some assistance. The outcome is uncertain. It's really going to depend on the decisions you make, and as far as your challenges, depending on whether you're going to speak up about this situation. And it's also followed by the Hermit. This speaks of Virgo energy. It also speaks of having to release something, having to possibly move forward on something alone. Your outcome is saying that you have to quickly make a decision when the time comes that may require you to move forward alone in something that, usually maybe you were used to doing it in a group, or involving a lot of other parties. In this particular situation, if you're pertaining this to love, this is you breaking up with someone. These two cards. Spirit is saying the outcome is that you're going to be alone. And you may have to move forward alone for the time being to fully achieve this healing and self-love that is required for you to replenish your energy in this situation. Now we're going to look at your oracle cards. And you got the throat chakra, which is truthfulness. I am truthful and honest with myself. I aim to overcome any fears about speaking my truth, and I speak in a loving, considerate way. My personal empowerment comes from telling the truth and letting others know who I am. Others will be positively uplifted when they hear my truth, and I take care not to exaggerate in order to impress them. I am careful not to let my mind mislead me, and in turn, others. I avoid gossiping and speaking negatively of others. So Spirit is advising you to really work on your throat chakra, which is the 5th chakra, and you need to stand in your truth. It may require you, again, standing in your truth. The Queen of Swords speaks of speaking up about something. Perhaps you standing in your truth is going to require you to stand up alone. And that's a decision you seriously have to consider if you want to overcome the fear of speaking up. And by not speaking up, it may be projected to your peers or your family or whoever, whatever parties are involved, that you think negatively of them. Your oracle message is, in every moment, the universe is conspiring to bring me toward right-minded thinking and the energy of love. So the divine is urging you to think right-minded about this situation and move in love. And love is an energy that is strong enough to cast out any negativity, any fear, any misjudgment. When you move in the energy of love, you're not speaking negatively of others, you're not gossiping, you're not misleading people to believe a certain projection of who you are, because, depending on what you do, or if this is pertaining to a relationship, in a love reading, I would consider this being that something happened between you and your partner, and it required you to seek healing. And you could have been involved with someone in the public eye because of the star here. That's the celebrity card. Or an influencer, or someone that is well known in society. But your challenge is overcoming this burden, because even though you're healing, it's affecting your health in some kind of way. You're hiding it very well, but that's why Spirit is telling you to work on your throat chakra, because you need to be truthful with yourself and others. I know that with everything going on right now, a lot of people think that we have to remain strong, and we always have to put on a strong face for society. But ultimately, you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not taking the proper time to heal. You know, with the pandemic and the things that are going on in the world right now, it may put a stress or burden on us to keep going and focus solely on preparing for, dare I say, the worst. But you're pushing yourself, and you're holding off your healing, even though your current energy is healing. But the way you're going about this healing, even though you're projecting that everything is okay, and you're doing it in a way that maybe minimizes the situation or the severity of how bad the situation hurts you, it may backfire and get perceived as you not living in your truth. Because ultimately, whatever this situation was, there was love there at one point. And I don't know if this healing may require you to maybe give up some things that are habitual for you right now. Maybe those habits contributed to this happening. But nonetheless, you're stressed out about something. You're putting on a good front, and you're not appearing stressed to you're putting on a mask. You're covering up the fact that you're not fully healed from this situation, and you're pushing yourself into work, but you're going to end up overexerting yourself. And we're in a time right now that you have to be very careful, because stress can kill you, anxiety can kill you, and it can also lower your immune system. For some reason, I'm feeling this to be connected with COVID right now. I don't know if there's someone in your immediate family or a friend or someone recently that got diagnosed with it, and maybe you're stressed about that. But ultimately, your outcome in the situation is you need to speak up. If you're feeling stressed or overburdened by something, you need to speak up and communicate that. And it may require you, taking a break from your immediate circle of people, whether that be your friends or your team or your family. And it may require you leaving somebody behind for you to have that time to really just work on yourself. The universe is always conspiring to bring you towards right-minded thinking and the energy of love. When you are moving in love, you're not covering pain with more pain. You're not exerting a low vibrational energy to cover up the pain. You take the time to be alone and heal from this situation, because you are still human. And when we go through things in life, we need to give ourselves time. And it looks like your version of healing, or what you're habitually used to doing, is distracting your need to heal by delving yourself into work. But maybe perhaps whatever this situation was so messed up that you really pushed yourself, and now you risk the chance of experiencing burnout. You need to speak up about this and maybe take some time off to relax communicate this, that you need some time to yourself. You've done a lot of great work here, but you also can't keep going like this unless you take the time to properly put back into your own cup and heal yourself. This could also speak of you feeling at the top of your game right now because you're pouring into yourself. But I'm still sensing something about you being overburdened or stressed out about something. And even though you're doing your healing, you need to be mindful that closed mouths don't get fed. You got to speak up about how you're really feeling about this situation. And perhaps you already have. But the way you spoke up about it was very low vibrational. You need to find a way to heal from this situation that doesn't result in you feeling burnout or burdened by something. And the outcome is going to be that you're probably going to have to just quit this situation altogether or this relationship because it's just too much for you right now. And if you continue to try to work on it, it's going to cause problems. Don't be afraid to speak up about how you really feel about the situation. Your personal empowerment comes from telling the truth and letting others know who you are on the inside. And being able to express that inner working of yourself in love, not in hatred, not in gossip, not in any other negative, low vibrational thought or action. Coveting people, always worried about what the next person has, looking for revenge, things of this nature. That's not the energy of love. For you to fully recover from this spiritually, and you may, the route that you took to heal from this situation may be bringing you accolades. That's great. You're turning your pain into power. That's great. But with every cause, there's an equal reaction. And though you're getting recognition and you turn this painful situation into a lucrative opportunity for yourself, what you're hiding from everyone else is the truth that you're really stressed and experiencing a high level of anxiety from this situation. And Spirit is asking and urging you to be honest with yourself and everyone else around you and speak up about how burdened you really are about this situation. And communicate that and let people know that you need some time to yourself. Now, I'll go ahead and clarify the outcome for you, just to be sure. Clarify the 8 of Wands. For Aquarius. Yeah, it's uncertain what the world's going to think about it. But the world is literally the best card that you can get in the deck. Whoever's involved in this situation, they're going to understand. And if they truly love you and support you like they say they do, they will understand that the outcome is uncertain, but you need to communicate this so that you can feel complete in the situation. Because this is great. And right now, this feels great. But when this is all said and done, and you get all the recognition and accolades and it feels good, when you get home at night, you still feel like this. So, to everyone else, you're this. But when you go home and you by yourself, you still feel this. And that's because you're trying to go about it in a way that, yes, you're healing and you're sticking it to that person, and to everyone else you look like a winner. But you still feel burdened by this situation, because the reality of the situation, Aquarius, is that you're still hurt by this situation. And you're covering up that pain with throwing yourself into work. Clarify the Hermit. I know. I'm in a very competitive field myself. There's a lot of people that want me to come off hiatus. And I tend to do so. But I'm going through something very similar. I'm an Aquarius rising, so I can definitely relate to this situation. But I chose that when I go home, when I'm by myself, I don't want to feel this no more. And yes, I would love to go after this, because I know I got the juice. But I don't want to feel like this no more. And I'm sure you don't either, Aquarius. Yeah. Hermit, clarified by the Five of Pentacles. You may have to abandon this burden. You may have to seriously take some time out to yourself and speak up about it. Because you're loving yourself based off of society's standard of loving yourself. But are you really loving yourself, Aquarius? Really think about that. Now, what I would suggest is taking a week off. Doing some spiritual baths, most definitely. Cord cutting ceremonies, I would look into that. I'm getting that you need to cut your energy off from certain people, and it may require you doing this more than once. From my personal experience, I've had to do cord cutting ceremonies consecutively for 3 months straight for particular people, because depending on how tied you were to this person or thing or circumstance, it may have a hold on you. And because of those energies having a hold on you, it's not allowing you to fully sit in your truth and portray that to the rest of the world or your loved ones or your team or whoever. Fulfillment and healing is not going to result in you gossiping or speaking negatively about others. Sure, it feels good now, but is it going to feel good forever? Is that really going to heal the situation? Or is it just putting a Band-Aid on it because now you're reciprocating the same negative energy that that person put on you? And really, on a third-party perspective, if I'm looking at two different sides to something, one side did something dirty to the other side and the other person retaliates in a low vibration, who really won in that situation? It's just hurt begetting more hurt. You have to move in love. It takes the bigger person to forgive and move in love. That's probably the hardest thing to do. It's easy to throw mud. It's easy to stoop to people's level. It's easy to get revenge. But God says, let him be the one to get revenge. Because no one can dish out revenge better than God. I can tell you that from personal experience. So I definitely think you have a lot to think about right now, Aquarius. Now, if this reading resonated with you on any kind of level, I encourage you to book a personal reading with me. They're on special right now to the end of November. And if it didn't, please keep in mind that there's literally many, many people in the world that are under the star sign Aquarius. So maybe next time it may resonate with you. Please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for tuning in to Starseed Direct Tarot. I wish you the best, and I wish you nothing but love and light, Aquarius. Namaste.